Never seen a lame man walk. Never heard a dumb man talk. Never seen a blind man see. I promise you will change his way. Never seen a cancer dead. Never seen all the poor get fed. Never seen a prisoner set free. I promise you will change his way. Broken heart made whole. Never seen an orphan find.
Hey, everybody. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? It's your boy, Bigger T, for the Big C, Bigger T podcast. And this is a special show. It's a little different. It's going to be shorter. You're not going to get as much of our genius on this one. Well, it's going to be heavy, just heavy, right at you, loaded with genius.
Right at you. Boom. Here it is.
Right there, lay it on the table. Here we go. But we want to do a response to the Arkansas versus BYU game. Okay.
Yeah. It happened. We have to talk about it.
It did happen. Sadly, Big C, what is your initial response? What was let's go with a Saturday. What was your, as you were watching, what's your response to this game?
Like, how did we lose it? You know, it just how. And honestly, it's hard to beat a good commit 14 penalties and win a football game against a team that's any good.
Yeah.
And BYU, they're not better than Arkansas, but they didn't inflict as many wounds on themselves as we did, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It was just it was like Pittman said in his press conference that came out today, we're recording this on Monday, is that the effort was there. Like, I didn't feel like the team didn't play hard. I didn't feel like the team didn't care. I don't know. I mean, they got out coached, definitely. But even at that, it's just like the self-inflicted wounds just absolutely kill them.
Well, can I go back to history a little bit for you?
Go ahead.
Let me go back to history a little bit for you.
All right, go ahead.
Back in
are they still allowed to teach that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
September 11th, 1857. There was a little deal called the Mountain Meadows Massacre. What had happened was a group of Arkansans left Arkansas, going west in search of gold and whatever else, as people did back then, to try to better their families back here in Arkansas. 120 families. Okay. Or 120 people, I think, something like that.
Right. Just makes everyone make the story better.
And the Mormons, at that time led by one Brigham Young, snuck in on them and massacred the whole bunch.
Saw it coming.
Now,
that is, yeah.
Now, they came to Fayetteville, this time much more friendly, giving food to food pantries with their niceties. Their coach, maybe the nicest coach in Division I. But they still left us hurting.
They did.
100 years later, over 100 years later. But no, what happened, Clint? I think you're right. I think the team played hard, but I think there's some things going on that, of course, we don't see as fans.
Right.
But I think there's some things that we as guys that know football a little bit, okay, that we have some football knowledge.
A little
we
bit.
Can see that may calm down the fans a little bit. Okay, look, it's not good. We lost to a team we should have beat. We were the better team. Our coach said before the game, we're bigger, faster, stronger than them. Okay. And if you look at our offensive line, that's where you got to start, right? That's where the struggle is. Now, I will say some of those penalties were some ticky-tack penalties.
I will say that. And I don't know what poor Bo what was it, Latham, Brady Latham?
Mm-hmm.
Slimmer, whichever one's 6'2", we all get them two confused. Yeah. Don't act like you can tell them apart. You just know. So poor number 62 is, I don't know if he did something to the umpire's daughter, if he offended him. I don't know what happened, but he just was the whipping boy of the entire officiating crew. Like, it was a bad day at the office for Brady Latham. Yeah. Or they lost, whichever one number 62 is. It's a bad day at the office. I mean, and I think it's on the team to flush it. It happened. We've got to learn from it, move on. They can't let it define them.
Okay, so that's let's make that the focus of the rest of our time here.
Okay.
It happened. We lost to BYU. A game that all of us put down as just about as a win. Okay. So what needs to happen next? What needs to happen starting this week, going into LSU? What needs to happen as we go into the rest of the season? What would you say, or if you were Coach Pittman, what would you focus on right now for your team?
You'd want to see consistency. Whatever you've been doing, as much as I say, because we're frustrated. Yeah, we want to make a different play call here and there, but whatever you've been doing at practice, you keep doing it and you trust the process. I know everybody thinks there needs to be a big radical change, but that's not what.
Lots of rumors that Kennedy's gone. There's already rumors out there about that.
Well, yeah, anytime a group is struggling, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Whether it's true or not.
No, I mean there's no evidence of it, but
yeah,
that's what the message boards people are saying.
Well, he's being fired by message boards,
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. And once again, folks, that's just a rumor. It is not. There's no proof to it. There's no. Don't go out there saying, I heard on that podcast that
no.
Travis and Clint said that he's being fired. No.
Listen, there was also a rumor that John Gruden was eating at the Catfish Show with Jeff Long.
Yeah.
That was a rumor. So you take that for what it is. So no, man, you trust the process, and Cody Kennedy's a good offensive line coach. I mean, he really is. I know there's some frustrating things right now, but if he couldn't coach an offensive line, Pittman would have seen it a long time ago.
Yeah.
He would have been gone. So there are some things to clean up. But the thing is, you get that through consistency. You just don't, Chamblee and Kudus, this is their second year in college football. That's it. Their second year of college football. Now, you got the experience in the middle. There's a lot of college football games that have been played. But you got two kids. You don't just change everything, because what you're going to do is you're going to throw the kid off. The kid has got to learn the process. Keep doing what you're doing. Trust the process, and good things will happen.
If it were me, if I was Pittman, what I would do this week after a loss like that is I would go back to our old high school coach, and it's the little things, fellas. And I would do basic blocking and tackling drills. I would do basic, one of the things that, if you listen to the Buzz in the morning time, Dan Hampton's real big on, when they interview him every week, he's real big on these guys aren't staying low enough, especially some of the defensive lineman guys are struggling with that, he said, because they're so tall. He said, and he said the offensive line is the same way. They're not getting low. He said they need to work. He was saying they need to work in the chutes. You remember the chutes? We used to have a metal frame that you had to go out at least, what were they, about 5 yards wide, something like that. And then you also had a board in the middle, piece of plywood that you had to keep your feet a certain width apart, so you had a strong base. So if you raised your head up, you were going to hit your helmet on a metal bar. Okay, just the basic stuff like that. Pushing the sled, the basic stuff. Okay, the getting low, using leverage. That's one of the things we're missing. Okay, now that's coaches to players. If I'm the coaches, I got to look at myself and I got to say, okay, what can I do better here? Okay. How can I better this team? AJ Green only had 9 carries and he was by far the best running back of the bunch. It should have been given to the hot hand on Saturday. He was the hot hand. He was finding holes that other running backs wasn't finding. Okay. Whatever reason, not saying, look, I know in practice, Dominion, is a stud. And in other games, he's been a stud. I know Johnson is a stud. Okay. Yep. But in that game, he was getting, AJ Green was the one producing. Let him produce. Go with that hot hand. Okay. They didn't do that. 9 carries for him, and he produced on what he had. Pittman said in his press conference today, he said, well, our plan was to get all of them equal carries. Now, is that an NIL deal? Is that a deal so you don't lose one of them? You got to get them all equal carries? Who cares about that junk? You play the best guy. Okay. Yeah. So, and that's just one little coaching decision. Okay. I don't have a problem. A lot of people are complaining about the 4th and 1, putting KJ in the shotgun. I don't think they're thinking that through at all. Okay. Just because the Philadelphia Eagles do the tush push and put Jalen Hurts up there and let someone run into the back of him every play doesn't mean that's the right way for everybody to go. You have a 250-pound quarterback, and if you put him back there in the shotgun like that, he doesn't have to just follow the center. He can pick his hole. And you trust him to find his hole, find where the better gap is on that line, where the soft spot is as he runs up to it. Plus, you're giving him that 4 or 5 yards of momentum to hit that line with, instead of having someone push him in the butt or the back. Okay. Now, look, should you try it both ways? Yes. Okay. Fine. But don't say it's a dumb idea just because it didn't work. Okay. Sure, it didn't work. The other thing is, and I mentioned this to you on the phone earlier today. This team is learning a whole new offense. Okay. They need some classroom time. They need some time. What this team needs is time to get this offense down. And a lot of times a new offense is going to affect the offensive line as much as it's going to affect anybody.
Yeah, really could be a completely different blocking scheme. I think I did see they're not doing as much zone blocking, I think is one of the things.
They're not doing as much zone blocking.
Yeah.
They're not doing it's a whole new language.
Yeah.
They've had to learn a whole new language this year. Oh. It's a whole different tempo.
But anyway, the one of the things is, Travis, though, because we need to be wrapping this up, but don't get any easier this week. I think this is one that we all picked as an L. So we got the LSU game coming up. Night game at Baton Rouge, which we always seem to, crazy enough, even when we haven't had good teams, played well at. I do think the best player in the SEC plays for LSU and Harold Perkins.
But, he hadn't been the same player we saw last year. And part of that's the scheme.
Yeah.
Part of that's the scheme.
So, but I think it'll be a good game. I think the best 2 quarterbacks in the SEC are going to be facing off. Jaden Daniels, KJ Jefferson. It'll be a fun one to watch. still, unfortunately, at this time and juncture, I'm going to have to go LSU 27, Arkansas 17.
I'm going to say Arkansas 21-20.
Okay. Hey, I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you are too.
Trust me, nothing would delight me as much as to be wrong on this one. So, well,
all
guys,
right, man. Well, folks, thanks for watching this. We got a great interview coming up with Andrew Chamley. Sorry. Andrew Chamley for the offensive lineman for the Hogs. So pay attention to that. If you're watching this and you haven't watched that yet, so check that out. We did Patrick Kudus a couple weeks ago. So we're getting those offensive linemen on there. So folks, we appreciate you watching, listening, share this. It's a little shorter than normal. Okay. And we talked about some things that maybe you're not hearing the talk radio folks talk about a little bit. So maybe we're bringing something a little new to the party a little bit. All right. So Clint, as always, man, it's a pleasure. Peace out, y'all.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to